Hi, very good morning. Today we will see sample programs and some hints about how to use a sad pointer and the what are the points we have to take a note while dealing with the destructor. Okay, first we'll go through the sad pointer. Okay, why we need to go for a sad pointer? Because when we allocate memory using new by ourselves, then we need to delete it when the object is when the object is going out of scope. Then in the destructor we have to delete that allocated memory. But in the case of sad pointer, we will allocate the memory when the object goes out of scope. That memory will be freed by the sad pointer itself. We need not write explicitly the code to delete the allocated memory. Okay. In this program, we will see what are the different ways to initialize a set pointer. Okay. Here, before using us, we have to use the memory header in order to use the set pointer. And then here I am declaring a set pointer, and then I am allocating a memory. I am assigning a 4 to the allocated memory. Okay, this is the point of declaration itself, how the memory is allocated. Okay, then if you we can also use a make underscore sad and then int and we can pass 5 to it. There, what it means, I'm allocating a memory and assigning that memory to 5. And we can also use reset. Reset, it means that if the ptr2, if it holds any previous memory, release that memory and start using a new memory, allocate a new memory which will hold the value 6. Okay, the reset is to tell free the previous memory and allocate the new memory and assign the value 6 to it. Okay, here you can also, here we have used a new, but here we can also use make underscore scatter to assign a value 7 to the new memory. If you don't, we are not passing any value, then the default value will be 0. Or this is the one way, or the other way we can use it like this. This program is to give an example how the set pointer can be initialized. See, in the last two cases, it will be 0 0 because we are not passing any argument, but the default value in that memory will be 0. Okay. Now we will see what are the points we have to remember while dealing with the destructor. A destructor name is same as the class name and constructor name, except a tilt will be present before the, the class name. Okay, this is a, if there is no tilt, then it means a constructor. If there is a tilt, it means a destructor. Okay, we cannot overload the destructor because destructor won't take any argument, and destructor will not return, similar to constructor. Destructor won't return any value. So this is why we are not returning any value from the destructor, because destructor is the last function to be called, so there is no need to return any value from the destructor. And destructor cannot be a static or constant, and since it cannot take an argument, we cannot overload the destructor. Since destructor cannot be overloaded, then there can be only one destructor per class. Okay, in this program, I have created a class called destructor, and this is a local function. The local function, I have created a class, created an object. Inside that object, inside that function, I am returning it, and then main function I am calling that local function. So here things to note is when this object is going will go out of scope, whether it is before the return or after the return. The object will go out of scope after the return. Okay, this is only when this function call ends. When this function call ends after the return. So the object destructor will be called after the return statement. And also note that we are not explicitly calling a destructor. Destructor will be automatically called similar to constructor. The destructor can be in virtual. Why we will go through a separate session on how the destructor can be virtual and why the destructor has to be virtual. Okay. Then now constructor compiler itself will provide a default destructor. Then why we need to write a user defined destructor? Because we need to write a user defined destructor in order to free the heap memory or close any open socket and then close the file operations. Those things will be done in the destructor. Cleaning up the heap memory, deleting the mutex attributes or releasing the mutex and then closing the socket, closing the file operations. So those things can be done in the destructor. Okay. The destructor can be in the private session also. Why the destructor needs to be in private session? We will go through an example. But here we note the destructor can be in a private session. If the destructor is in the private session, then the object can be created only dynamically and it has to be freed by either by the front function or static function. If the destructor is in the private session, we cannot create a static object because when we create a static object, then when the object is trying to go out of scope, it will try to call the destructor. The main, if the object is going out of scope from the main, it will try to call the destructor in the public session. Since there can be only one destructor and there is no destructor in the public, it will lead to compiler warning. You see here, if it is in the private, here after this return, it will try to call the destructor in the public session because the main can call only the destructor in the public session, but there is mm, no no destructor in the public session, so it will lead to compiler error. If the destructor is in the private session, it has to be created uh, dynamically and it has to be freed by the static function or front function. That we will go through an example. Here, this is an example on how the destructor can be in a private session. Okay, here we have created a private class. Inside I have declared the destructor to be in a private function. Okay, and then we have two functions. Okay, one is front function, another one is static function. See the syntax for the front function. Okay, the front and the return type and the function name, the argument to be passed. Static function also similar to the front function, but the static function is the member of the class, but the front function is not the member of the class. And it can front function can access the private member and private member function of the class. Okay, but whereas the static function, it static function can also access but the point is the static function can be called before the object is being created. So we can call class name, the scope resolution operator, and the static function name. But we no need the object for the front function to be called. We can directly call the function name of the front function. Okay. Here we see that we have declared, we have wrote the definition outside the class in order to see in order to indicate that the front function is not the member of the class. Seeing this function, I am telling that this function is not the member of the class because don't have the class name and the scope resolution operator, and we are passing a argument of that private destructor and we are deleting that pointer. Similarly, the same operation we are doing it in the static function also. But here the static function is a member of the class because we see scope class name and the scope resolution operator. Inside the main, I have created a two object using a two dynamic object using a new and then I'm one object I'm deleting it through the front function, another object I'm trying to delete it through the static function. Okay, here if you see the output, we will get this line. Okay, if you create the object static object, which is short like this, then it will we will get a compiler warning saying that not able to find the um, not able to find the destructor. Okay, this error we will be getting it. Okay. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please press like button and add your comments and do a subscription. If you don't, if you have any suggestion or improvement needs to be done, please put your comments. And if you want me to share any particular topic, please feel free to add in the comment section. I will try to put a separate video on that session so that we will learn together. Thank you. We'll meet in the next video.